There is a quiet war being fought every single day, and almost everyone is losing it without ever realizing they were under attack. It does not take place on a battlefield. It happens in the quiet moments right before you fall asleep. It happens when your chest tightens over a text message, when your appetite disappears because of someone's opinion, or when you spend 3 hours replaying an argument with a person who hasn't thought about you once all day. Think about how much of your life you have quietly handed away. You give your morning peace to a rude stranger. You give your evening calm to a bitter coworker. You give your self-worth to someone who doesn't even know how to value themselves. 2,000 years ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius possessed the power to execute his enemies with a single word. He commanded armies that redefined the borders of the known world. Yet every single morning, he sat down in his tent and wrote a reminder to himself. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot distinguish good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good in the ugliness of evil, and I have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. Marcus Aurelius knew that the hardest empire to rule wasn't Rome. It was the vast, chaotic territory between his own ears. Today we are going to dismantle the invisible chains you've been wearing. You are about to discover 10 timeless Stoic principles, forged through war, exile, betrayal, and plague, that will make your inner peace completely untouchable. Stay with me until the very end, because Lesson 10 reveals the single shift in perspective that turns emotional vulnerability into absolute mental sovereignty. Let us begin. Lesson 1, the fortress within. Stop granting unregistered access. Every great empire in history understood a basic truth of survival. A fortress is never conquered from the outside until its gates are carelessly opened from within. If an invading army marches up to walls 40 feet high, they can shout, "Insult the king," and beat their drums all night long. But as long as the gates remain bolted, the king sleeps peacefully in his chamber. The noise outside changes nothing. Now look at how you live your life. Every time someone insults you and you spend the rest of the day angry, you haven't just heard the enemy, you have walked down to the courtyard, unbolted the heavy iron doors, and invited them to sleep in your master bedroom. Every time you demand that someone apologize before you can feel at peace, you have handed the keys to your home to the very person who tried to burn it down. Epictetus, who spent his youth in chains as a slave before becoming one of the greatest Stoic teachers in Rome, declared, "If a person gave your body away to any passerby, you'd be furious. Yet you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along, so that if they abuse you, your mind becomes disturbed and troubled. Have you no shame in this? When someone criticizes you, they are not describing your identity. They are describing the lens through which they view the world. If a colorblind person looks at a vibrant red canvas and calls it gray, do you weep? Do you spend weeks trying to convince them that red exists? Of course not. You recognize their limitation and keep walking. Why then do you bleed when someone whose judgment you don't even respect calls you weak, dishonest, or inadequate? The Stoic practice. From this moment forward, establish an inner border control. Before you allow a comment, a rejection, or a setback to ruin your mood, ask yourself this exact question. Is this inside my control or outside my control? If it is outside your control, if it belongs to another person's tongue, another person's choice, or the unpredictable nature of fate, it does not enter your fortress. Let them shout outside the walls. The gates remain locked. Lesson 2. The art of absolute indifference. Starve the drama. Imagine a fire raging inside a pit. If you toss dry oak and oil onto it, it roars higher, consuming everything in its path. But if you simply stop adding fuel, what happens? It doesn't require a battle to put out. It doesn't require a drama. It simply starves. It burns through whatever little residue remains and naturally turns to cold, harmless ash. Human hostility works in the exact same way. When someone provokes you, insults your work, or tries to draw you into a petty conflict, They are holding a burning torch. They are desperately searching for fuel. They want your reaction. They want your anger, your raised voice, your defensive paragraph, your sleepless night. Your reaction is the oxygen that keeps their torch lit. When you respond with total, calm indifference, you refuse to provide the fuel. The torch burns their own hand. Seneca, the great Stoic statesman, wrote extensively about anger, calling it a temporary madness. Mankind is born for mutual help, anger for mutual destruction. The best remedy for anger is delay. Allow it time. The initial heat cools down, and the mist that clouded the mind clears away. Visual. Cinematic imagery of a calm lake under a moonlit sky, undisturbed by a tiny pebble dropped into its shore. Think of the power held by the person who cannot be baited. When someone attempts to provoke you and meets only a calm nod, a quiet smile, or total silence, you have inverted the power dynamic entirely. They expected a struggle. Instead, they hit a wall of stone. They leave feeling small, confused, and drained, while your energy remains completely intact. Silence is not surrender. Silence is the highest assertion of dominance because it proves that the other person's opinion is not heavy enough to tilt your scale. The Stoic practice. The next time someone tries to provoke you, whether on social media, at work, or in your personal life, implement the 3-second rule. Pause. Take a breath. Do not offer a quick rebuttal. Ask yourself, will winning this argument improve my character, or will it only feed my ego? If it feeds only your ego, grant them the last word and walk away. You haven't lost. You've preserved your peace. Lesson 3. The ghost of the past cannot touch you. Destroy mental time travel. There is a strange self-inflicted torture that millions of people engage in every single night. They lie in the dark, safe under their blanket, and willingly transport their minds back 3 months, 2 years, or even a decade into the past. They replay the exact moment they were humiliated, betrayed, or abandoned. They feel the same heat in their face, the same drop in their stomach, the same surge of adrenaline. They are suffering from a ghost. The event itself lasted perhaps 5 minutes, but their mind has forced them to experience it 500 times. Seneca captured this tragedy perfectly when he wrote to his friend Lucilius. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. What good does it do to review past troubles, to make yourself miserable now because you were miserable then? Visual. A shadowy figure walking down a corridor of mirrors, each reflecting a past mistake. Understand this truth deeply. The past does not exist anywhere in the universe right now. You cannot touch it. You cannot edit it. You cannot reshoot the scene. It exists solely as an electrical impulse stored in your brain. When you allow a past betrayal to dictate how you view humanity today, you are letting a dead moment rule a living soul. You are letting someone who hurt you once continue to hurt you every morning when you wake up. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself of the sheer brevity of human existence. Time is a river, a fierce torrent of things that come into being and are swept away. A thing no sooner comes into sight than it is carried off and another takes its place, and this too will be swept away. If time sweeps everything away so ruthlessly, why are you clinging to trash floating down the river? The Stoic practice. Whenever a painful memory surfaces, do not fight it or suppress it. Acknowledge it like a passing stranger on the street. Say to yourself, that happened to a past version of me. It was a lesson, not a life sentence. Then pull your awareness violently back into the present moment by focusing on what your hands are doing right now. Lesson 4, the power of becoming unneeding. Dismantle expectation. Why does rejection hurt so intensely? Why does disloyalty cut so deep? It is not because of the action itself. It is because of the gap between what you expected and what actually occurred. You expected your friend to be loyal, so when they gossip behind your back, your world shatters. You expected your effort to be recognized, so when your boss ignores your contribution, you sink into resentment. You expected life to be fair, so when hardship hits, you cry out in anger. The Stoics taught that pain lives in the space created by unrealistic expectations. Epictetus taught his students a revolutionary idea that sounds harsh at first, but offers absolute liberation once understood. When you attach yourself to anything, a cup, a piece of land, a friend, a spouse, remember what it truly is. If you have a favorite ceramic cup, remind yourself that it is merely ceramic. If it breaks, you will not be devastated. When you embrace your child or your wife, remind yourself that you are embracing a mortal. If they pass away, you will not be broken. Visual: classical oil painting depicting Seneca teaching young scholars in Rome. Epictetus wasn't telling us to be cold or heartless. He was teaching us to love reality as it actually is, rather than demanding that reality conform to our fragile fantasies. Human beings are flawed. People will fail you. Friends will change. Circumstances will pivot overnight. When you accept this as the natural order of the universe, just as you accept that rain falls and winter brings cold, you stop being shocked when people act according to their nature. When someone acts selfishly, the wise Stoic doesn't say, "How could they do this to me?" The Stoic says, "Of course they did this. They are acting out of their own ignorance and weakness. Why did I expect a peach tree to grow apples?" The Stoic practice premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Every morning, spend 60 seconds visualizing things not going your way. Imagine traffic being backed up, someone being rude, or a project failing. Not to become pessimistic, but to immunize your mind. When it happens, your brain will recognize it. Ah, yes, I prepared for this. Now let me execute my response. Lesson 5. Amor fati, love whatever happens to you. Most people view adversity as an unwanted interruption to their lives. They think, once I get past this illness, once I resolve this lawsuit, once I pay off this debt, my real life can finally begin. They spend their entire existence waiting for the storm to pass, living in a constant state of temporary endurance. The Stoics operated on a completely higher level. They didn't just endure adversity, they welcomed it. They called this principle amor fati, the love of one's fate. Marcus Aurelius wrote one of the most famous passages in ancient philosophy regarding this exact mindset. The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Think of a blazing fire. If you throw a small cup of water on it, the fire dies. But if the fire is hot enough, and you throw a heavy log, a pile of dry leaves, or an obstacle into it, the fire consumes the obstacle and uses it to grow bigger, hotter, and brighter. You are meant to be the fire, not the small cup of water. When someone betrays you, that is your fuel to build discernment. When a business venture fails, that is your fuel to study strategy. When you suffer heartbreak, that is your fuel to cultivate self-reliance. Nothing can happen to you that cannot be transformed into fuel for your character. Look back at your own life. The moments that built your current strength, your resilience, and your depth were never the easy, comfortable, sunny days. They were the dark nights where you felt broken, alone, and pushed to your absolute limit. Why resent the very fire that forged the steel of who you are today? The Stoic practice: when a crisis or unexpected hardship hits this week, eliminate the phrase, "Why is this happening to me?" from your vocabulary. Replace it instantly with, "This is happening for me. What muscle is this forcing me to build?" Lesson 6. The illusion of reputation. Kill your need for applause. How much of your budget, your time, your clothing choices, and your career decisions are driven by a desperate desire to be admired by people you don't even like? We spend money we haven't earned to buy things we don't need to impress people we don't respect. This is the tragedy of the modern human condition. We live as slaves to public opinion. Marcus Aurelius sat at the absolute pinnacle of world status. Thousands bowed when he entered a room. Yet when he looked at human praise, he saw it with total clarity. I have often wondered how it shows that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. What is praise? A clapping of hands, a noise made by tongues. Will the applause of posterity keep you warm when you are in your grave? Think about the people whose approval you crave. Are their minds perfectly balanced? Do they make flawless life choices? Are they free from insecurity, jealousy, and fear? If the answer is no, why are you allowing their judgment to serve as the supreme court of your self-worth? If a foolish man praises you, have you suddenly become better? If an ignorant man condemns you, have you suddenly become worse? As Epictetus plainly stated, you are not your reputation, you are your character. Reputation is what strangers think you are. Character is who you are when you are alone in a quiet room with the lights off. You can control your character completely. You can never control your reputation. To care about reputation is to build your house on shifting sand. One day the crowd cheers for you. The next day the same crowd throws stones. The Stoic builds his inner temple on bedrock, completely indifferent to whether the crowd is cheering or booing outside. The Stoic practice. Intentionally do something harmless that risks mild social awkwardness. Wear an out-of-style jacket, sit alone at a restaurant without looking at your phone, or speak up in a meeting with an unpopular truth. Notice how the sky doesn't fall. Realize that people's opinions carry zero physical weight. Lesson 7. Speak less, execute more. The sovereign power of silence. Notice how the weakest people in any room are almost always the loudest. They announce their plans before they've taken a single action. They boast about their achievements, defend themselves against every minor slight, and constantly seek validation for their ideas. They bleed energy through their mouths. The Stoic moves through the world like a heavy current beneath a quiet river surface. Epictetus gave his students a directive that remains timeless. Never call yourself a philosopher, nor talk much among the unlearned about principles, but act according to them. At a banquet, do not talk about how one ought to eat, but eat as you ought. When you speak endlessly about what you are going to do, your brain releases dopamine as if you've already accomplished the task. You rob yourself of the raw, uncomfortable tension that drives real execution. Furthermore, when you constantly defend yourself against critics, you project weakness. Explanations are often just covert pleas for permission. A master of himself does not explain his lifestyle to those who mock it. He simply lives it so cleanly, so consistently, and so powerfully that his results render all arguments absurd. Look at the oak tree standing in the forest. It does not give speeches about its strength. It does not argue with the winter wind. It simply grows deep roots, stands firm through every gale, and lets its massive presence do the talking. The Stoic practice. For the next 7 days, adopt a policy of strategic reticence. Do not announce your goals to anyone. Do not post your workout routines or business plans on social media. If someone criticizes you unfairly, reply with, "You may be right," and leave it at that. Accumulate your energy in silence and channel every ounce of it into silent, relentless execution. Lesson 8. Memento Mori, the ultimate equalizer. There is one appointment in your calendar that cannot be rescheduled, delayed, or canceled. It was set the exact second you took your first breath. You do not know the time, the date, or the location, but it is approaching with every tick of the clock. That appointment is your death. Modern society treats death as a terrifying taboo, something to hide away in sterile hospital rooms and pretend doesn't exist. We spend trillions of dollars trying to mask aging, distracting ourselves with endless noise so we don't have to face our mortality. The Stoics did the exact opposite. They kept death right in front of their eyes, not out of morbid depression, but because death is the ultimate filter for bullshit. Seneca wrote with urgency, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. The man who puts the finishing touches to his life each day is never at a loss for time. Imagine standing at the very end of your life. Your body is frail, your breath is shallow, and you have less than 60 seconds remaining on this earth. In that final minute, will you care that someone cut you off in traffic 3 years ago? Will you care that an ex-partner didn't appreciate you? Will you care that someone left a mean comment under your post? Will you care about the promotion you didn't get or the car you couldn't afford? All of those trivial anxieties will instantly vaporize, revealing themselves as the hollow illusions they always were. Marcus Aurelius carried this exact filter into every decision he made as emperor. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. When you keep Memento Mori close to your heart, you acquire an incredible superpower: instant clarity. You stop wasting hours on trivial disputes. You forgive quickly because time is too short for grudge holding. You love deeply, work passionately, and live boldly because you realize you are a temporary guest on this earth. The Stoic practice. Before you react to any stressor today, close your eyes for 5 seconds and repeat the phrase, Memento Mori, I too must die. Watch how quickly petty frustration melts away, leaving behind pure focus on what actually matters. 36 minutes to 40 minutes lesson. 9. You are the author of your own meaning. Reclaim responsibility. Visual. A man sitting at a rustic wooden desk, writing in a leather journal by candlelight. Narrator. The world will often be unfair to you. You may be born into poverty, raised in dysfunction, betrayed by loved ones, or struck by sudden illness. You did not choose your starting point, and you did not choose many of the cards dealt to your hand. Weak minds use their bad hand as a permanent excuse to stay broken. They say, look at what happened to me. This is why I am bitter. This is why I fail. This is why I drink. This is why I cannot succeed. The Stoic understands that while you do not choose the cards, you alone choose how to play them. Epictetus, born into slavery, crippled in one leg, spent his entire life demonstrating this truth. Circumstances do not make the man, they reveal him to himself. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Visual. Aerial view of a lonely traveler walking through a vast desert toward a distant mountain range. Two people can experience the exact same tragedy. For example, the collapse of a family business. One person declares their life is over, turns to vices, and spends 30 years wallowing in self-pity. The other person uses the failure as an intense masterclass in business resilience, builds a new foundation, and goes on to help thousands of others navigate financial ruin. The event was identical. The meaning assigned to the event was entirely different. You are not a passive leaf blown around by the winds of fate. You are the author of your own story. The world provides the raw material, the events, the weather, the actions of others, but you provide the narrative. If you view yourself as a victim, you will live and die as a victim. If you view yourself as a warrior being tested and tempered by the universe, every hardship becomes a chapter in your triumph. The Stoic practice. Take absolute ownership of your current life state today. Stop blaming your parents, your exes, your government, or your genetics. Say out loud, I may not be responsible for the damage, but I am 100% responsible for the healing and the future. 40 minutes to 43 minutes, 30 seconds. Lesson 10, the unbreakable mind, becoming untouchable. Visual, grand montage recapitulating the core visuals. The lighthouse standing firm against the midnight storm, the blacksmith forge, Marcus Aurelius' statue, the vast mountain peak under sunrise. Narrator. We have traveled through 9 formidable pillars of Stoic wisdom. You have learned to guard the gates of your inner fortress. You have learned to starve the fires of provocation through indifference. You have learned to slay the ghosts of past regret. You have dismantled fragile expectations. You have embraced amor fati, loving whatever fate throws your way. You have freed yourself from the addiction to public applause. You have discovered the quiet power of action over words. You have filtered life through the ultimate lens of Memento Mori. You have reclaimed total ownership of your personal narrative. Now we arrive at the master key that locks all of these principles into place, the concept that turns a fragile human spirit into an unbreakable mind. The ancient Stoics spoke of the hegemonikon, the sovereign ruling center of the soul. They believed that inside you lies a place that no outer force can ever penetrate without your explicit consent. An enemy can lock your body in a prison cell, as they did to Epictetus. An enemy can seize your wealth and destroy your reputation. An enemy can inflict physical pain upon your flesh. But no enemy, no tyrant, no heartbreak, no economy, and no mob can ever enter your hegemonikon. They cannot force you to hold a hateful thought. They cannot force you to surrender your integrity. They cannot force you to despair. Your mind is a sacred sanctuary. The key to that sanctuary belongs exclusively to you. When you master this truth, you achieve the ultimate human freedom. You realize that no one can hurt you unless you agree to be hurt. No one can humiliate you unless you value their opinion over your own self-respect. No one can ruin your day unless you hand them the controls to your emotional state. You become mentally untouchable. Section 11, Conclusion and Community Call to Action. If you have stayed with me until this exact second, something fundamental inside you has already shifted. You are no longer willing to live as an emotional pawn in other people's games. You are ready to step into your sovereignty. Do not let these lessons remain mere sounds in your headphones that fade away when you close this app. Let them settle into your bones. Practice them when you wake up tomorrow. Practice them when someone insults you at work. Practice them when life throws an unexpected storm into your lap. To seal this commitment to yourself, not to me, but to your own character, I want you to leave a comment down below with just one single word: untouchable. When you write that word, let it be your solemn vow that from this day forward, your peace is no longer for sale. Your character is no longer negotiable. Your mind belongs to you, and you alone. If this video brought value to your journey, press the like button so the algorithm carries these timeless truths to others who need them. Subscribe to Stoic Insight Channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a lesson on mastering your life. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius as you step back into the world. Be like the promontory against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. Master your mind, guard your peace, and remain unbroken. Until next time.